Tottenham gained our first 3 points of the year, beating Wolves 1-0. Roberto De Zerbi has continued to put his faith in Kolo Muani. Dermot Gallagher, the former Premier League referee, believes a 2-footed challenge should only be a yellow card offence. The latest transfer talk and views as we take on Aston Villa at Villa Park this weekend. This is your weekly Tottenham news review. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lee and this is the weekly Tottenham news review. If you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel, like, share and comment in the comment section below. If you're listening on audio channels, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's talk about the last week as a Spurs fan. Well, on a positive, Tottenham Hotspur gained our first 3 points of the year, beating Wolves 1-0. Luckily, Linia was in the right place at the right time to poke the ball home from a Richarlison shot. Of course, we would take these points all day long, but our move out of the bottom three was short-lived, with West Ham beating Everton, which we did not believe was going to happen. Bit of a controversial decision in the handball in that game, and West Ham getting a goal right at the end, which was really disappointing. Tottenham didn't play particularly well, but as I said, we will take it all day long in the context of where we currently sit. On top of all of this, gaining those 3 points, Xavi gained an ACL injury, ruling him out for the rest of the season. And it also appears that Dominic Solanke has a grade 2 hamstring injury, which can take between 3 to 8 weeks to actually get better. So essentially, he is out for the rest of the season as well. We are waiting for confirmation of that from Roberto De Zerbi in his press conference at some point on Friday. So a bit of a disappointing one, really. Great 3 points, got us out of the bottom three, short-lived, 2 more injuries. Anyway, that leads us on to De Zerbi putting his faith in Kolo Muani, believing that he can get back to his Frankfurt form where he played on the right-hand side, and that to help us in this kind of relegation battle. Unfortunately, I have to be honest, I am yet to see any evidence that that is going to happen. But I guess De Zerbi has limited options available to him. And so he has to try to give that player a level of confidence that he can do that and that he can get back to playing in the way that he has shown previously, which has kind of had him hyped up, and why, PSG have bought him, why Juventus are interested in him and so on. From a Tottenham point of view, it's just not happened. I mean, I'm hoping that in the next 4 games he can do that, because we have very limited options without him playing on that right-hand side, to be honest. So, we have tried Archie Gray, we have tried Conor Gallagher, we've even tried Pedro Porro playing in that role with Jed Spence behind him. We are really struggling in that position, and we are struggling across the pitch, let's be honest. Options are very limited with this squad. We've got 11 first team players unavailable, and Spurs are being impacted kind of the most of any team in the Premier League for sure. I saw a stat where it said with 37 players or something, or 37 injuries or whatever. I think it was Arsenal who was second with something like 31 or 32. Anyway, that aside, we clearly have been massively impacted by injuries. We have had James Maddison sitting on the bench. You know, the guy is just coming back from an ACL. We daren't rush him back, to be honest, because if you rush him back, the same could happen as happened to Mo Kudus, where he has been rushed. But he was training at Ajax, doing very, very well. The medical team apparently got hold of this, rushing him back, and then got a further injury, which is now put him out for the rest of the season. He's been advised to have surgery, and he has said that he doesn't want to have surgery, which kind of tells you all you need to know about the relationship between some players maybe and the medical department. I mean, I'm just surmising because I don't know, but on the face of it, that's kind of what I'm seeing, but I could be absolutely wrong. Moving on, Dermot Gallagher, the former Premier League referee, has said that Andre's two-footed challenge on Bissouma was okay and only deemed worth a yellow card. So this is despite the player going to ground, out of control, with both feet off the floor. Now, Gallagher has previously said that the Broby challenge at the end of the Brighton game, you know, the one that put Christian Romero out for the rest of the season and gave Anton Kinski a massive knock to the canister, he said that was okay. You know, it was an okay challenge. Shouldn't have been a red card because, you know, if the defender's not trying to shield the ball and the goalkeeper's not coming out, then it wouldn't have happened. But that has since been checked by the FMI, who decided actually it was a red. It was a red. So I'm fully expecting Dermot Gallagher to have egg on his face yet again later on this week when they perhaps review that challenge and come up with the fact that, oh yeah, maybe Spurs were hard done by yet again. We're probably the worst impacted team across the league for refereeing decisions. In fact, I saw another video that's been posted with a full 10 minutes worth of mistakes by referees that have affected Spurs over the last couple of seasons. And I have to say that my view on this very much is that referees should apply a Christian Romero rule of thumb. Okay, so they should blow the whistle, have a look at it and go, right, okay, let me think. If that was Christian Romero, would I give a red card, a yellow card, or nothing? If it's a red, then it's a red for this player. If it's a yellow for this player. If there's no booking, then it's no booking for this player. Because let's be honest with you, how many times have we seen Christian Romero being called out for being overly aggressive, letting his team down and so on and so forth for a challenge of standing on someone's foot or sliding in and so on. So you've got to look at it from that point of view. I genuinely do believe in the future they will have a Romero rule. I really do. Perhaps the Gary Nevilles and Jamie Carragher's of the pundit world could also apply this rule of thumb when they're analysing incidents and in their commentary, because how many times have we heard them call out that Romero has let his team down or that he's overly aggressive and so on, and yet at the same time stand behind another player and say, no, that's okay. You know, let's be absolutely honest here. You know, I'm not trying to be, oh, woe is me, but it is true. It's what's happened, you know. So given the level of injuries that Spurs are going through, it's also been asked about loan players being brought back. Will Lancashire, for instance, has been named Oxford United Player of the Season and a Golden Boot winner. He's actually scored something like 11 goals in the Championships. And, you know, he's shown a couple of real quality ones. If you think back to his last game, where one was a nice little back heel flick, and another one was for outside the box, you know, curler that flew in. So great in great striking form in the Championship, all granted. But, you know, could he come in and do a job for us? We've also seen Mikey Moore being suggested, been in great form up in Scotland, likely to win something up there, potentially player of their season and so on. However, looking into that and seeing some other people that have wrote about that, that is not possible. You cannot bring a player back who is out on loan in this scenario. Players have to be registered with their club. So when a player is transferred on loan, they are deregistered from their home team and registered with their loan team. You cannot then deregister them with that team and move them back to their home team until the window is open to allow them to do that. And in this scenario, that is the summer transfer window. And so it is very unlikely, in fact impossible, for Spurs to be able to do that and bring either of those players back. I mean, we've got some other players out there, some defenders, Ashley Phillips, for instance, who could have come back. Jamie Donnelly, who's out on loan as well. So there are players out there that we could have had. So maybe we shouldn't be rushing so quickly to loan out some of these players when we're leaving ourselves so short in this squad. Or maybe we should have some contractual nuances that suggest a player can be returned at certain points or due to certain things. I don't know, but something they certainly need to think about, whether we're in the Premier League or the Championship next season. So there's been a fair bit of transfer news as well going on this week. Spurs being linked with Marcus Rashford. Should we stay in the Premier League? Barcelona are not keen on paying £26 million for a transfer fee and would prefer to have another loan. Whereas from a Manchester United point of view, they want a straight sale, £26 million. Marcus Rashford is on £325,000 a week. And obviously Barcelona have their own financial problems to consider. And Manchester United just want to see the back of Rashford. But that's got to come with questions for sure. Would ENIC even consider paying that sort of money to a player each week, and how does that affect other players in terms of them getting similar wages? I don't think that they would, not at this point in time, especially if we are going down. And the other question is, would Marcus Rashford even consider coming to Spurs? Let's be honest. If we stay in the Premier League, would he be convinced that we are not going to be, in the relegation battle year in and year out? So I think it would probably take a little bit of convincing for Marcus Rashford to even consider that. Let's be honest with you. Barcelona, Champions League, Tottenham Hotspur, potential Championship. What would you do? Let's be honest. So I think it's highly unlikely that we would be looking in that direction. The other one that we've been linked with is 28-year-old defender currently at Bournemouth, Marcus Senesi. Again, this is provided the Spurs stay in the Premier League. I think there has been talks and so on, but there is nothing in writing and nothing confirmed from that point of view. From an outgoing point of view, it's been widely reported that Inter Milan are keen on Guillermo Vicario in the summer. This one just won't go away. Seems to be talked about a fair bit. Lots and lots of different reports coming out that a decision between the players' representatives and Inter have been sorted, and the length of contract, the wages, all that kind of stuff. All that's left is for them to agree a fee with Tottenham if Tottenham want to let him go. And that will depend very much on whether we are in the Premier League or the Championship. Again, it's another one of those scenarios where you have to wait and see what happens at the end of the season. Obviously, he's currently injured, so one to look out for. And it's also likely that Randal Kolo Muani will move on to Juventus with a fee of around 30 million euros. As PSG look to offload the player. His time at Spurs has been very poor. We would not likely want to keep that player. And again, Championship, Champions League, Europa League, wherever they end up, that has got to be more in his mind than playing for a struggling Spurs where he's had a really, really difficult time. So, yeah, I can't see him staying with us either. Not that I would even want him to be fair. I would actually drive him to the airport myself. So this weekend we take on Aston Villa at Villa Park, a really tough fixture, but hopes are that they have their focus firmly on the Europa League, with them playing tonight, Thursday before, and next Thursday. So our match is sandwiched in between, and this could give us a much needed boost. Getting anything would be great, to be honest with you, but 3 points would be absolutely fantastic. West Ham have Brentford away, who could be thinking about their holidays. So the Hammers do have a good chance at Brentford, which isn't great news for us. They do play before us, so I'm not sure whether that gives us an edge or not. We'll just have to see whether that piles pressure on either side. We will likely have a depleted squad, but we have to believe that we can do it and put in as much as possible to make it happen. So I don't know what else to really say on that. We're going to have to see what team is available. We have to see what happens to Villa in Europa. Do they have an easy win? Do they have a difficult win? Do they have to, do they get injuries? Do they have it all to do the following Thursday? Do they need to rest players? So potentially there is opportunities in there for us, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. So anyway, that's all the bits and pieces to talk about today. I have been rambling on for 16 minutes, so if you've stayed this far, thank you very much for doing that. Really appreciate it. As I said at the beginning, please do hit that subscribe button if you don't subscribe to Chris's channel. My name's Lee The Dorset Spur. If you would like to come over and give me a sub as well, that would be fantastic. Love to have you over there as I aim for my target of 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year. If you are listening on audio platforms, do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. But once again, thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one. All that's left to say is up the Spurs.